stop eating and your body doesn't shut down. It switches on. That idea sounds wrong, almost dangerous, because everything around us says the opposite. Eat more often, never skip meals, keep your energy up. But there is a hidden switch inside your body that only activates when food disappears for long enough. And when that switch turns on, fat starts burning faster, your brain begins to sharpen, and your sleep starts to reset in a way most people never experience. Not in weeks, not in months. This begins within just 36 hours. That is the part most people don't know. The body you think gets weaker without food actually becomes more efficient, more focused, and more controlled when given the right conditions. This is not about starving. This is about unlocking a system that has been built into humans for thousands of years, a system that modern life has almost completely shut off. Right now, most people are stuck in a constant cycle of eating. Morning starts with food, then snacks, then another meal, then more snacks. Late night eating follows. The body never gets a real break. It never enters a deeper state where repair begins. It stays busy processing, storing, and dealing with constant intake. That is why fat loss feels slow. That is why focus feels weak. That is why sleep feels broken even after hours in bed. The problem is not always what you eat. The problem is that your body never gets the signal to switch modes. And that signal only comes when food is absent long enough. 36 hours is not just a number, it is a turning point, a threshold where the body stops relying on incoming energy and starts using stored energy in a powerful and controlled way. Inside that window, something unexpected begins to happen. Your body uses up its stored sugar first. That is normal. But when that runs out, it does not panic. It adapts, it shifts, it begins to burn fat at a deeper level. Not the slow surface level fat burning that happens with short diets or quick workouts. This is a deeper burn, a steady release of stored energy that has been locked away for months or even years. At the same time, insulin levels drop, and this matters more than most people realize. High insulin keeps your body in storage mode. Low insulin opens the door to fat loss. And during a longer fast, insulin drops to levels that are difficult to reach with regular eating patterns. That is when the real change begins. But fat loss is only one part of the story. Something even more surprising happens in the brain. Most people think that not eating would slow the brain down. Less fuel means less function, right? That sounds logical, but the body does not work that way. When food is not available, the brain actually becomes more alert. It releases chemicals that improve focus and attention. This is not random. This is survival. In the past, humans needed to be sharp and aware when food was scarce. A slow brain would not survive. So the body evolved to do the opposite. It increases clarity. It improves reaction time. It supports the growth of new brain connections. That means better thinking, better memory, and a level of mental sharpness that many people have not felt in a long time. And this does not take weeks. It begins during that same 36-hour window. Then there is sleep. One of the most frustrating problems today is poor sleep. People go to bed tired but do not feel rested. They wake up in the middle of the night. They struggle to fall asleep again, or they sleep for hours and still feel exhausted. This is not just about stress or screens. It is also about timing, hormones, and how the body is being used during the day. Constant eating disrupts natural rhythms. It keeps certain hormones active when they should be quiet. It confuses the body's internal clock. But when you remove food for a longer period, something begins to reset. Hormones start to rebalance. The body begins to follow a more natural cycle. And when the fast ends, many people experience deeper, more refreshing sleep than they have in weeks. Not because they forced it, but because the body returned to a state it understands. There is also a layer that most people never hear about. Deep inside the body, a cleanup process begins. Old cells that are damaged or not working properly start to break down. The body recycles parts that can be used again and removes what is no longer needed. This is not something you can feel directly, but it is one of the most powerful benefits of longer fasting. It is like a reset from the inside. a quiet repair system that only activates when the body is not busy digesting food all the time. Short breaks from eating do not always reach this level, but longer fasting windows begin to move in that direction, and that is where real change starts to build. Still, there is a reason this sounds unfamiliar. Modern routines have moved far away from this pattern. Food is always available. Eating is constant, and the idea of going without food for 36 hours feels extreme at first. But in reality, the body was designed for periods like this. It is not a mistake, it is a built in feature. The problem is not that fasting is too hard for the body, the problem is that constant eating has made it feel unnatural. Once you understand what is happening inside, the fear starts to fade. What seemed extreme starts to make sense. And what seemed difficult starts to feel possible. In this video, you are going to learn exactly what happens inside your body during a 36-hour fast, step by step. You will understand how fat burning actually works during this time and why it is different from shorter fasting windows. You will see how your brain responds and why many people report better focus instead of fatigue. You will learn how fasting connects to sleep and why it can help reset patterns that feel broken. You will also understand the challenges, the moments where hunger rises, and why those moments do not last as long as you think. This is not about pushing yourself blindly. This is about understanding what is happening so you can make a smarter decision. Each part of this process builds on the next. First, the body uses what is easily available. Then it adapts. Then it switches. And once that switch happens, the effects begin to stack. Fat loss becomes more efficient, mental clarity becomes stronger, sleep becomes deeper, and all of this starts within a time frame that most people have never tested. That is why watching this until the end matters, because the full picture only makes sense when you see how these pieces connect. Missing one part can lead to confusion. Seeing the full process can change how you think about food, energy, and your own body. There is also a difference between guessing and knowing. Many people try things based on trends or random advice. Some stop too early, some do it the wrong way. Some never understand why they feel a certain way during the process. This video is designed to remove that confusion, to give you a clear, simple explanation without noise, without exaggeration, and without unnecessary complexity. Just the facts explained in a way that is easy to follow and easy to remember. So by the end, you are not just hearing about fasting, you actually understand it. And there is one more reason to stay until the end. The most important part is not just what happens during the fast, it is what happens after. How you return to eating, how your body responds, how you can repeat the process safely and effectively. This is where many people make mistakes. They focus only on the fasting window and ignore everything around it. But the real results come from the full cycle, from understanding the beginning, the middle, and the end. That is where the real benefit shows up. This is not about extreme discipline or pushing limits for no reason. This is about working with your body instead of against it, giving it the space it needs to do what it already knows how to do. When you remove constant input, the system becomes clearer, signals become stronger, results become more noticeable, and over time, small changes begin to create bigger outcomes. So stay with this, because what comes next will break down each step in a simple and clear way. No confusion, no unnecessary detail, just the truth about what really happens during a 36-hour fast and why it can change fat loss, brain function, and sleep all at the same time. Welcome to the channel. If you want simple, science-based health content that actually makes sense, then subscribe now, because the next videos will build on this and help you understand your body at a deeper level. Modern life has created a world where the body rarely rests, where eating is continuous and uninterrupted, where snacks are everywhere, and meals are more of a background noise than a deliberate choice. From the moment people wake up, Breakfast is pushed as an essential, and throughout the day, small bites, coffee with sugar, late morning snacks, fast lunches, and processed energy bars all blur together. In offices, at home, and on the go, the body is constantly digesting, absorbing, and storing energy instead of using it efficiently. Most people think they are being productive or caring for their health by eating frequently, but the truth is far from it. This constant feeding keeps the body trapped in a mode that never allows it to switch, to reset, or to function at its optimal potential. It keeps insulin levels elevated, prevents fat stores from being accessed, and leaves the body dependent on an unending stream of calories. Energy surges followed by crashes create a cycle that clouds focus and creates brain fog. It is not unusual to feel mentally sluggish in the afternoon, despite sleeping enough the night before. Poor diet and frequent eating patterns do more than slow down mental clarity. They disrupt hormones, increase inflammation, and interrupt natural sleep rhythms. Fat loss, despite careful calorie counting and exercise, can stagnate because the body never enters a state where stored energy is available. Every bite eaten signals the body to store, 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 and never tap into the reserve. Sleep suffers because the body is in constant alert mode, digestion happening when it should be resting, hormones like cortisol and melatonin getting out of balance. The cumulative effect of this lifestyle is subtle yet profound. A body that feels tired, a mind that struggles to focus, and a metabolism that works against you rather than for you. It is not laziness, it is biology. The body was designed for periods of fasting, for natural cycles of feeding and rest, but the environment has removed those cycles entirely. Without a break, systems that are meant to repair, rebuild, and optimize never get the chance. It is as if the engine is running non-stop without oil changes, and eventually everything begins to slow down, struggle, or fail. This constant feeding mode has created a generation that is chronically overfed yet undernourished in the sense that the body's natural repair and reset mechanisms are rarely engaged. Fat accumulates quietly in the background, energy is uneven, and sleep never feels fully restorative. People are left frustrated, searching for solutions, not realizing that the answer does not always lie in more exercise, more supplements, or more complicated diets. The key lies in what happens when the body is allowed to pause, to enter a state it evolved to access when food is absent. In ancient times, humans naturally went without food for periods. Scarcity was common, yet people survived, thrived, and developed adaptations that modern humans have mostly forgotten. These adaptations are not just survival tactics. They are sophisticated mechanisms that optimize fat utilization, brain function, and hormone balance. And this is where the concept of monk fasting comes into play. Not a radical or extreme practice. Monk fasting is a structured approach to giving the body the pause it requires. It is not about starving or punishing the body, but about respecting its natural design. The 36-hour fasting window that monks and ancient traditions often followed was never arbitrary. It aligned with cycles of energy use, hormone fluctuations, and repair mechanisms. During this window, the body gradually depletes its immediate energy sources and begins to access deeper reserves. When glycogen, the stored sugar in muscles and liver, runs low, the body does not panic. It shifts gears. It turns to fat, unlocking energy that has been stored sometimes for months. Insulin levels, which normally rise with every meal and snack, begin to drop steadily, signaling the body to switch from storage mode to mobilization mode. This is a process that short fasts cannot achieve. A 12-hour or 16-hour fast may give a mild effect, but it does not reach the threshold where deep fat stores are accessed and full metabolic adaptation occurs. It is in the 36-hour window that the magic begins, where stored energy is finally usable, where the body becomes more efficient in ways it cannot achieve under constant feeding. And while fat loss is significant, it is not the only change. Brain function reacts powerfully to this fasting state. When food is absent, the brain does not shut down, it sharpens. Chemical signals increase, improving focus, alertness, and mental clarity. Neurotrophic factors, which are growth signals for new brain cells, are released, helping the brain to regenerate and strengthen itself. This is a survival adaptation encoded in human biology over thousands of years. In times of scarcity, mental sharpness was critical. Early humans needed to hunt, navigate, and survive without a full stomach, and the brain adapted to ensure peak performance under these conditions. This response does not require months or complicated interventions. It starts within the 36-hour fasting window. Alongside this, subtle yet profound changes occur in sleep patterns. Hormonal rhythms adjust, cortisol levels stabilize, melatonin peaks at the right time, and the circadian rhythm aligns more closely with natural cycles. People who try a carefully timed fast often report deeper, more restful sleep after completing the period, not because they forced it, but because the body returned to its preferred rhythm. And then there is the internal cleanup that occurs silently. Old, damaged cells are broken down, recycled, and renewed in a process that cannot happen fully when the body is constantly digesting food. The pause in eating allows these repair mechanisms to operate more efficiently. Every system in the body responds to this structured absence, from metabolism to cognition to sleep, in ways that are impossible under continuous feeding conditions. This is the hidden power of fasting practices preserved in monk traditions and ancient wisdom. It is not about deprivation. It is about timing, structure, and allowing the body to follow patterns it knows instinctively. Understanding these processes is the key to unlocking results that are otherwise frustratingly slow or inconsistent in modern life. Many people report that after completing a long fast, they experience sleep that is deeper, calmer, and more restorative than they have felt in weeks, and this is not a coincidence. When food intake is stopped for a structured period, the body's internal systems begin to realign in ways that modern life rarely allows. Hormone levels, which are normally disrupted by constant eating, begin to stabilize. Cortisol, the stress hormone that spikes at the wrong times in many people's daily routines, gradually falls into a rhythm that aligns with natural cycles. Melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep, begins to peak at the right times, gently guiding the body into restful sleep. Growth hormone, which supports cell repair and fat metabolism, also responds favorably to the fasting window. This combination of hormonal shifts not only improves the quality of sleep, but also contributes to the feeling of waking up refreshed, alert, and mentally clear. The circadian rhythm, which can be thrown off by late night eating, artificial lighting, and irregular schedules, begins to reset. The body remembers its natural timing when it is not constantly processing food. Digestion slows, energy shifts, and the nervous system is able to enter states of relaxation that were previously blocked by continuous feeding. The deep restorative sleep that follows is not forced or artificial. It is the body operating as it was designed to operate, free from interference. Many people are surprised by how quickly these changes occur. Even after a single 36-hour fast, sleep cycles adjust, and what was once a night of tossing, turning, and fragmented rest becomes a night of uninterrupted and rejuvenating sleep. This effect is subtle yet profound, and it underscores how powerful the absence of food can be when timed correctly. The difference between shorter fasts and a 36-hour fast is significant and often misunderstood. Intermittent fasting of 12 to 16 hours can give basic benefits such as mild fat utilization, some improvement in focus, and a slight hormonal shift. However, these shorter fasting windows rarely allow the body to fully enter the deeper metabolic states that trigger substantial fat burning, enhanced brain function, and the complete reset of sleep cycles. The 36-hour fast is different because it pushes the body past the initial adaptation phase. The early hours of fasting primarily use stored sugar, and the body remains in a transitional state. Only after the glycogen reserves are depleted does the body shift fully into fat burning mode, creating a metabolic change that is both significant and sustainable. This is also the point where hormonal balance becomes more pronounced. Growth hormone spikes in response to the extended fast, insulin remains low for longer periods, and the body's stress response stabilizes. Neurochemicals in the brain that support clarity, focus, and cognitive repair begin to increase in concentration. The contrast is stark when compared to shorter fasts, which may only lightly engage these systems without producing lasting effects. The 36-hour fast is long enough to cross a threshold where multiple systems in the body interact synergistically, creating a cascade of changes that touch fat loss, mental performance, and sleep quality simultaneously. This is why it is often described as a metabolic shift rather than a temporary adjustment. It is a reset that is deeper than most people experience through daily dieting or intermittent fasting alone. Despite these benefits, the reality of a 36-hour fast must be understood honestly. It is not easy at first, and it is not a practice that everyone will find simple or comfortable. Hunger waves are natural and inevitable during the initial stages, rising and falling in a rhythm that can feel challenging for those who are used to constant eating. The body communicates its need for fuel, and the mind may resist. This discomfort is temporary, but it is important to recognize and respect it. The fast is designed to be structured, not extreme, which is why planning and understanding are critical. Some people may feel lightheaded, irritable, or fatigued if they attempt it without preparation, or if their daily routines demand high energy output. Others may notice increased mental sharpness and energy after the initial adjustment period. It is also important to emphasize that fasting is not suitable for everyone. Those with certain medical conditions, metabolic disorders, or nutritional needs should approach extended fasting with caution and professional guidance. The practice requires awareness of the body's signals, careful attention to hydration, and understanding that the experience is unique to each individual. Success is not measured by ignoring discomfort, but by noticing the subtle changes in metabolism, cognition, and sleep as the fast progresses. Over time, the body adapts, hunger waves become easier to manage, and the benefits begin to manifest more clearly. The first attempt may be challenging, but those who continue in a structured and informed manner often report remarkable improvements in energy, focus, fat utilization, and restorative sleep that short fasting periods cannot replicate. During the 36-hour fasting window, multiple systems in the body communicate and interact in ways that are impossible under constant feeding conditions. Fat stores are mobilized more effectively, brain chemical levels adjust to support higher clarity, and sleep hormones synchronize with natural cycles. It is not a single change, but a combination of adaptations occurring at once. Hunger is temporary, but the improvements in internal function are lasting. Even subtle shifts in hormone levels or neural activity contribute to cumulative benefits. The sleep improvement is particularly striking. People often wake after the fast feeling refreshed in the morning despite fewer hours of sleep or after a week of chronic tiredness. This effect alone reinforces why longer fasting windows are powerful. Shorter fasts can provide minor benefits, but they rarely trigger the profound hormonal and neurological recalibration that occurs around the 36-hour mark. It is the tipping point where the body moves from adaptation to transformation, where systems that were previously suppressed under constant feeding become fully active. Recognizing this threshold is crucial. Those who do not reach this period may miss the deeper benefits. The 36-hour fast provides a controlled environment to allow the body to function as it evolved to, in cycles of feeding and rest, in ways that modern life has mostly suppressed. It is essential to understand that the mental and physical experience of fasting is intertwined. Hunger, alertness, energy, and mood are all signals from the body indicating shifts in metabolism, hormone levels, and neurochemical balance. The waves of hunger that may feel uncomfortable at first are temporary markers of the body entering a state of efficiency and repair. Cognitive clarity often increases despite the lack of food, demonstrating that the brain prioritizes function during fasting states. Sleep improves because the nervous system is allowed to reset. Cortisol rhythms stabilize, and melatonin aligns more closely with natural environmental cues. Growth hormone and repair mechanisms operate more efficiently, and fat stores are mobilized systematically. The 36-hour fast is not just about weight loss, it is about orchestrating multiple systems simultaneously, creating a natural, holistic reset that touches nearly every aspect of bodily function. This period is where the difference between short term benefits and deep transformation becomes visible, measurable, and impactful. It is why many people report feeling lighter, more focused, and more rested in ways that intermittent or shorter fasting windows cannot replicate. Could you go 36 hours without food? It sounds challenging, but your body is ready for it. If you are curious to try, type fast in the comments and join the conversation. Let us know how far you can go. Remember, your body already knows how to heal and reset. It just needs the right conditions and a little patience. Give it time, follow the process, and you can unlock fat loss, sharper focus, and better sleep faster than you think. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like it, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel for more simple, science-based health tips that actually work. Your next step toward a healthier, sharper, and more energized version of yourself starts here. Don't miss it.